I would like to speak to you today about not how you make new, fascinating, attractive advertising, but on what legal framework you base those, the legal frameworks affecting commercial communication in the digital age, especially in the light of the future Audiovisual Media Service Directive, which has been decided upon in a political agreement on the 24th of May, and this Audiovisual Without Frontiers Directive is going to replace the well-known Television Without Frontiers Directive. Now, to tell you straightforward, that is not going to be a new layer of rules. On the contrary, its purpose is to allow the audiovisual industry to get more benefits from the freedom of services. And the freedom of services in the internal market are enshrined in the European rules. The on-demand audiovisual media services, which are currently out of the scope of the Television Without Frontiers Directive, will be covered with the new directive, thus meaning a new opportunity of freedom, because we will move from 27 scattered different layers of regulation to the country of origin principle, which means one authorization for a market of 500 million potential consumers. So, this current directive has not led to the absence of regulation, as these services are subject to a number of rules. So, only if you take them into the rules can you get rid of the multiplication of the rules. What we have today for video-on-demand services are 27 member states, 27 authorization schemes, 27 different, sometimes conflicting legal bases, which means from country legal uncertainty, no transparency, and material restrictions to the freedom to provide service. And that means that for the cross-border distribution of European audiovisual content, lost opportunities. So the aim with the modernization of the rules is to allow the growing on-demand segment to benefit from the same advantages as the traditional broadcasting services, and to enjoy finally the economy of scale, which is absolutely necessary for the internal market. As far as the commercial communications are concerned, the architecture is the following. On one side, there are the twin pillars of flexibility and autonomy, and on the other side, there are the twin pillars of transparency and clarity. And the top is the responsibility of the industry. This is a vaulting over the pillars, and I'm going to explain what this means to you, because in the context of European law, it is quite a new context. First, we establish an increased flexibility in the rules of commercial communication. Broadcast services will benefit from an autonomy with a lighter touch regulation and with margin of maneuver for the insertion of advertising during programs and for mini-spots which are free in sport programs while they remain an exception in other programs. As regards insertion, the suppression of the 20 minutes rule is a major step forward, because today this 20-minute rule is a burden to those who make programs. They are conceived as an unnecessary constraint. Sometimes the programs have to be arbitrarily cut at an inappropriate point. This is going to fall, and I hope with this also that the special regimes for films and telefilms which has been adapted to the needs of the modern free-to-air broadcasters, will reintroduce films and telefilms into television schedules, because now the rules on advertisement interrupting those films is less stringent than it is today. Furthermore, the new directive allows innovative advertising techniques and provides broadcasters with clear guidelines for deploying those techniques, thus ensuring symmetric treatment with the on-demand sector, which already had greater freedom to innovate. For the first time also, product placement is regulated. This ensures legal certainty for a commercial practice which already takes place, in fact, but cannot serve as a serious source of financing for TV programs because officially it falls under the ban of super repetitious advertising in most member states. So the fact that now there is a legal certainty permits the insertion and the use of this type of product placement. In addition, the modernized directive increases transparency and clarity on the rules of the game for all market players, be they advertisers, media providers, or users. And the identification principle applies to all nonlinear and linear services. This, together with a new provision on the product placement, are very important for the transparency. Product placement and sponsorship are now fully subject to the disclosure principle. On product placement, for instance, viewers must be adequately informed at the start and at the end of the program, and if any advertising break takes place, again when the program resumes. Undisclosed product placement will qualify as super-repetitious commercial communication and be banned. Many studies carried out at the level of member states show that the public is favorable to product placement if the presence is signaled to the viewers and does not interfere with the editorial content. So here we have now an authorization which allows you to go for public placement, and I count on the responsibility of the media service providers and on the advertisers to implement the provisions of this directive promptly in respecting the editorial integrity and the absence of undue prominence. When I became a commissioner of the Information Society and the media, I said very clearly that there would be no additional advertising bans as long as I am Commissioner in charge of the convergence. This has not only been said, it has been done. And something on top of that, I believe that one should not regulate for the sake of regulation. And if rules can be applied in self- and co-regulation, giving to the industry the responsibility of doing so, then we should go to this direction. And that was exactly what has been proposed in the new directive. The member states have now the possibility for implementation of a European rule to give this responsibility to the industry in a self- and co-regulation capacity. I have seen in the print media that the advertising industry is very capable of making self-regulation work. And I'm confident that the advertising industry and the media service providers will make it work also in the field of audiovisual. Member states from now on can choose how to implement the provision, be it by national law, heavy law, or be it by effective co-regulation. And I really do believe that you, as professionals, should offer your collaboration to the Member States so that these provisions can be put into place in the co-regulation optic. For instance, there is going to be the question of the children's programs and the advertising for food beverages high in fat, sugar and salt. Before politicians take initiatives there, you should take initiatives on the self-regulation frame, because here you have to show that you can deliver. If you are doing this and if you seize this opportunity, if you commit yourselves to responsible commercial communication, including online, you will give a good argument for those who want the laws to be put into practice by self-regulatory and co-regulatory mechanisms. Otherwise, pressure will come back on the legislators, be they national legislators or EU legislators, to adopt additional binding measures, especially in order to tackle public health issues. So this is my warning to you, but also the offer to you. Get it in your hands so that the necessity of heavy regulation will not be discussed. Another question I wanted to raise is the user-produced content, which, as you know perfectly well, has gained momentum over the past year due to the transformation in the media environment. Now, this has, of course, a very strong implication for the traditional media and also for the new media companies alike. A fundamental shift is underway from a passive to an active media, with users increasingly creating their own content. With the current take-up of new services and applications and the potential for content and services to reach commercial mass markets, consumer issues are raising concerns. And in addition, the explosion of user-generated content is adding a new dimension to the role of users in the information society. You know much better than anybody else then that business models related to Web 2 economies are still nascent. Commercial communications face here new challenges, but also very big opportunities for targeting and customizing advertisement. I just listened to what has been said before, and it makes sense. But with also a very big uncertainty as regards the share of the advertisement cake that will go online in the future and how it will change the overall size of the cake. As a European Commissioner responsible for convergence, I want to contribute to legal certainty and confidence among stakeholders as regards online distribution of creative content. As key issue in user-generated content is the accuracy of today's copyright regime. The online market will face increasingly thorny copyright issues, with a growing number of Web 2 users expecting remuneration for their work. Not only those who want to put their works online free, but those who want this freedom of presenting to be remunerated. This transforming works can create huge value and spur innovation. In the European Commission's strategy I-2010 on the next generation services, we have been looking at this unlocking of the potential of creative content services. The new directive, Audiovisual Without Frontiers, was one step. The next step will follow. Our policies towards broadband availability, our policies towards mobile TV will also participate in this unlocking. And then there is a communication which will be of utmost importance. It will come out in the course of 2007. And it will tackle the content online question. And it will propose further added value actions to be taken at European level by public administrations, by industry, to improve the competitiveness of the European online content production and distribution industry. Among our objectives are the following: to boost the competitiveness of the content industry online in Europe, to promote the availability of content for the users. I'm thinking here, among others, also of the diversity of European content and on the cultural heritage, and to foster the user's active role in content selection, distribution, and creation. As you see, ladies and gentlemen, the Commission is not waiting for things to happen. We are accompanying what is happening, taking away as much as possible the administrative and legal burden in order to leave a profession which has to find its way, to leave it free to go ahead, and to give a chance to the European content industry. In all the decisions which have been taken and which will become law in the next coming months and years, the aim to give the advertising industry the possibility to proactively exercise their responsibility and play an important role in the implementation of the rules is a red thread. I believe that with a series of initiatives and with the work which we can do together in implementing these initiatives, we are giving Europe a unique and future-oriented framework to tackle convergence. And I believe very sincerely that convergence is a chance for more content and a chance for more revenue for our industry. Commercial communication will obviously be crucial to finance a large part of this content. That is why we must not go against commercial communication, but we have to leave it develop together with the new opportunities that the new technologies will bring to us. You are the ones who, from the point of the professionals, will have to do your part of the work. And I have confidence that you will do it rightly. The basis for doing it has been laid by the politicians. The doing has to be done by the industry. Thank you.